Hello YouTubers, welcome back to the workshop. Project we got this week is this bit of yew. As you see from the end, really nice bit of wood, make a really nice bowl. Unfortunately on the end we got that huge great fissure running through there. I was lucky enough about 4 years ago, there was 2 yew trees had been cut down, and when I went round saw the owner of them, they said if I wanted to cut them up I could take them away. And I did get some, probably about half a dozen really big bowl blanks out of them. Really nice, beautiful piece of yew. Unfortunately, an awful lot of what I cut was like that. And it's been sat in my wood store and I'm not really sure what to do with it, because if I cut it I'd end up with just this piece on there, which would be quite a small bowl. I made a few boxes, lids, finials. The last project I did, I turned a root ball and I turned it to fit the bowl because it was such an odd shape, and I think I could do that with that. If I turn that to fit the bowl and then pour in the resin in, I'd use only a very small amount of resin to go in there and save a lot of wastage. So the first thing I'm going to do, just mount that in my chuck and turn that to fit my bowl. So, as you can see, I put my screw chuck in one end and set that piece of yoke in the lathe. There we have a piece all nicely turned. So let me gently come off of there. And you can see if I didn't put that in resin, how small that bowl would be. Probably going to be from there to there, so it's going to be a tiny little piece. So putting that in resin, it's going to allow me to make quite a decent sized bowl there, and also add a bit of character to it as well, which I think will look quite nice. So let's get and pour some resin. So I put the piece of yew inside the bowl. I put one of my spare chucks on top of it just to weight it down, just to make sure it don't move. And now to mix in. Anybody watched any of my videos before, I always like to weigh this out. So it's 100 grams of resin to 45 grams of hardener. I'm going to put a little bit of colour in here, and this is a red gold. Not used this one before. Just use a tiny little bit in there. It does go a long way. Give that a good mix. That is the first pouring. Got about another 100 ml left, so I'm going to just quickly mix that up and pour that in there as well. Well, there we go, YouTubers. Nice piece of yew. That's all gone off nicely. Let's see if that'll come out. You see that's just holding on in the bottom of there. Times like this I wish I had compressed air. There we go. It was Mould Turner who gave me the advice about coating that in a thin coat of resin before I do it. It stops the air coming out of the wood. So thank you to Mould Turner. If you want to check out his channel, he does turn out some really good stuff. Right, let's get on that on the lathe and start turning some of that away. So I've got this all set up in my lathe. The great thing about turning the wood first to fit into the bowl is I've still got my hole on the other side, so I'll just put my screw chuck straight back in there, and so I know that everything's running nice and true, nothing's out of balance anywhere, and it just runs really nice. So the first thing I'm doing now is I'm just forming a tenon on the bottom of here, so that As soon as I finish turning the outside, I'll just turn that round and I'll have something for the chuck to hold onto. So what I want to do now, that wasn't a perfect fit in the bottom of the bowl, so I'm just going to go through and take some of this resin away so that I can get down to the actual U itself. I'm using this, I'm using a skew chisel. It does seem to scrape that, it does seem to cut it a lot better than conventional tools. So I'm just going in using that as a negative raked scraper and just taking all of that resin away, getting down to the U. You'll see in a minute I stop the lathe and you can see all the beautiful colours coming through the resin. There, that really does look nice. I swapped over here to one of my bowl gouges. It's a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. And what I've done, if you lift the handle right up and close the flute right down, you can use that as a scraper. But you can see it doesn't like it quite so much, that does chip up. It's okay for roughing all that resin away very quickly, but I wouldn't suggest it as a finishing cut. This is my new air scrubber and it works unbelievably efficiently. My brother's in the building trade, he stripped somebody's kitchen out and he had that extractor fan come out as a cooker hood extractor fan. He gives me, I had some scrap plywood I made up, I bought 2 of the proper filters to go inside of there and just knocked it together, and I'll tell you, the air, or the cleanliness of the air down here is so much different than what it used to be. But everything down here was always covered in fine dust, but with that I don't get that anymore. Any thing with that, what I would have liked to have on there, and I may be able to fix up some sort of timer, there's like a run on that when I leave I turn it off, but I have it on when I'm down here. So sometimes you'll hear that in the background. I apologise for that. It's not overly noisy, but you are very aware of it running in the background. But for the cleanliness of the air I breathe, I think that's well worth it. Good job. Well, there we go, YouTubers, that's all sanded down to 800 grit. Now I'm going to apply some Yorkshire grit. So this is a very fine Carnarvon paste, or abrasive paste, which should give me an even better finish. You can hear that, it's almost like a scratchy noise as I'm putting it on. Bring that grain out beautiful. Alright, let's give that a polish. Just keep working that backwards and forwards. Let the compound do its stuff. Don't keep it in the same place for too long. And then get a clean bit of cloth and just take it all off the wood. So that lovely shine come on there. Just a little bit coming off on that cloth. And there, that's gorgeous, that is. It's real depth with that mica in there. Lovely shine on there. As you see, I've turned that around the chuck now. I've got that in my 3 jewel chuck on there. I brought the centre up just to hold this while I do a bit of work on there. So the first thing I need to do is just take all that away and just clean that face up, and then once that's done I'll take the centre away and I'll start hollowing. So I've given all my tools a good sharpen. Let's get to turn some wood. doesn't actually seem to cut very much, but it doesn't take very long to open up a big hole like that. That is, without a doubt, the worst thing about working with resin. It goes everywhere. And that wasn't staged. So it's pretty good. Just a few ripples on the bottom of there. The sides are nice now, nice and consistent. Negative scraper, you can see that's taken some lovely shavings off of there. Really nice. So I'm just really cutting well. It's lovely, lovely transition from the bottom to the sides, lovely and smooth. So you just need to get and sand that down there. So I've sanded that all down to 800 with the Abranet. Lovely smooth finish on there. You should still see that's got that sort of foggy look on there. So go in with the Yorkshire grit and that will polish all of that resin up and really bring that grain out on that U. When you put that Yorkshire grit on, you can really feel how that grabs the cloth, so you know that carborundum paste in there is really doing its job. See on there, that's taken a lot of that off. I don't know how much of that is sawdust. Put a bit more on there and just let it do its job. What I'll do now is just turn that around, put my cold jewels on there and just take that tenon off the bottom. Well, here we go, YouTube. Beautiful resin and new bowl. A lovely thing about that resin, it lets you maximise the use of your wood. If I hadn't used that piece of resin in there, I'd have only been able to use that small piece of resin, that small piece of yew from there, there to there. So it would have been a very small bowl, probably only about 4 inches. Instead, I've got that. I have to say, I do love that rose gold in there. That's beautiful, with the mica in there, gives it real depth. Beautiful grain pattern inside of there, beautiful colours. Altogether, really nice project. I think that would look really nice on anybody's sideboard, except nobody else ain't having it. That one's a keeper. So, thank you all very much for watching this week's episode. As always, I've been Steve Howe, and I've had another great day in my workshop. I hope you enjoyed it as well. So you take care of yourself, and I'll see you all again next week. Bye bye.